Another episode, a Tuesday night episode of Fight Briefing. What's up, everybody? I hope everybody is wonderful. Yeah, guys, a Tuesday night episode of Fight Briefing. We actually have 3 fight cards, as I mentioned on the last one, so we're going to be getting a whole week's worth of content this week. I hope you guys are doing well. We're actually going to be talking about UFC Fight Night 174, Smith versus Teixeira. No, I don't have a celebration for that. Sorry, guys. I'm a little off because it's weird being live on a Wednesday. I have to be perfectly honest. But it's okay because we're going to get through this. Let's go through the main card of UFC Fight Night 173, UFC Jacksonville. All right. Kicking off the main card here, guys, we have Karl Roberson versus Marvin Vettori. Ricky Simone versus Ray Borg is the second fight, followed by Alexander Hernandez and Drew Dober. And then we've got the co-main event, Ben Rothwell versus Ovince St. Preux, which, if you ask me, is a debatable fight for a co-main event, but it's okay. Well, I'll take it. And then we got the main event, Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira. Of course, I love this one. You guys already know Anthony Smith is my boy. So I'm pretty excited to see that one to start off the card. Let me see who's in the chat tonight, and then we'll get started. We're gonna break down the main card and talk about who I believe is gonna win on the main card and who you guys think is gonna win. So we'll go through all that. Let's say hello to the chat. All right, we got Flat Earth Deacon, Gary Banjo Sandwich, Drunk Savage, Brian Galvan, Flat Earth Deacon with the fist pump.
Wonderful.
Alex Wolf says, Ovince is from where I live. Sup, JBH. Sup, Jose. How much is the pay-per-view? This is not a pay-per-view, Aiden. So for those of you guys just who don't usually watch the fight nights or anything like that, this is actually just a fight night, so you don't have to pay for it. It's going to be on ESPN+. We actually have a link in the description if you want to get a quicker way to get those fights and stuff like that. They will be live on ESPN+, the entire card tomorrow. So you don't have to pay $70 for pay-per-view. You just got to get the ESPN+, and bing, bang, boom. You got it. All right, guys. Let's get to talking about it tonight. What do you say?
Wonderful.
I just did that so I could have time to transition. Thank you guys for awing in the chat. All right, let's get started on the first fight of the night for tomorrow night. Now, the weigh-in's already happened. It looked like everything went well, so I'm not too worried about that. But you have to go back quite a while now to July 2016 to find the last time the UFC presented a show in the middle of the week. I actually went back and I saw just to see when did the UFC ever do this? And it was July of 2016. But naturally, with a global pandemic, that's definitely caused an unprecedented disruption. So you can't really blame the UFC for trying to put it together like this. They're making attempts to try and catch up their cards. This Wednesday, of course, now sees the UFC's 9th show on ESPN in Jacksonville for this year. So, listen, I got to give the UFC credit. They're trying to put it together as best they can, and with a pandemic, I'll freaking take a Wednesday fight night. I'll take it, man. All right, Karl Roberson versus Marvin Vettori. I like this fight. Actually, I didn't find too many problems picking on this card, on the main card, except for this fight. This is probably one of the only ones that I really I could have leaned either way. I think it's pretty safe to say that both men have kind of rounded their games out pretty dramatically at this point. But overall, I'm slightly favoring Vettori in this fight for a couple of different reasons. Roberson has picked up a couple of solid victories, I guess you could say. There have been a number of performances that kind of brought into question his fight IQ, at least in my opinion. One of them was his loss over Glover Teixeira, who is fighting on the main event tomorrow night, for instance. But he did, I think the reason why is because he had Teixeira in some deep trouble, and he probably should have put him away in that fight, but he chose to engage in a grappling match instead, which makes me question his logic in the middle of a fight, what he thinks is probably the best move to make. Vettori has arguably improved since he first debuted 4 years ago. He did have that rookie style when he first came in, but most fighters do, so you got to kind of cut him some slack on that one. But that's not to go without saying that in his early fights, he was still able to push the pace. Even in a fight with someone like Adesanya, who's a pretty heavy fighter for him to be fighting, he still managed to hold his own and push the pace even though he lost. He did have a year-long USADA suspension, but I am convinced that he did use that time to significantly improve his skill. So I do, overall, bottom line, guys, I do feel Vettori does have enough tricks up his sleeve to trade with Roberson in this fight. I am convinced he does have the stamina. He has the strength, the skill to work them both on the feet and on the ground. Although I do not see a KO or a submission happening in this fight from either of these two tomorrow, given that the impression that this is a pretty equal matchup in terms of skill. So I think they're just going to push the pace. I say Vettori pulls from that little bag of tricks that I mentioned, and he outworks Roberson for a decision. Let me know who you guys have in the chat. All right, he's a drug addict. Ferguson says Anderson Silva was way better than Israel. Alex Lova says Vettori. Kurt Cocaine says POG. Justin Jr., you opening the lines this time by decision for goat milk purposes. Alex Rodriguez says, did you say Nasi or not C? Not C. I'm with you, JBH. It's right, Nick C.
Wonderful, wonderful.
My dogs and cats live together. Mass hysteria. Steve Sparks says FED. Post Reloaded says Gary. Leaning Marvin says yo-yo. I'm sorry, says Steve Sparks. And then Flutter says yo-yo. Yeah, I would say you'd be pretty smart to lean with Marvin in this fight. Did you get to go back and watch the last card with the volume on? I love that you could hear every punch and kick landed. Do you think they need fans in the stands? So it's that guy. I love that question for a million reasons. People have asked us this before, but it never gets old to me because, no, I did not get to go back and watch the fights without with the sound on. Not this time, at least. But yes, I do believe that I wouldn't say they need the fans, but it definitely makes a difference. There's always a different atmosphere. There's always a different style of fighting that you see from them, a different aura, I guess you could say. So not that they need them, but it always makes a difference whether the fans are there or if they're not there. I'll just put it that way. All right. But I will go back. I've heard a lot that it was pretty harsh to watch without the fans because you could hear everything. So I will definitely go back and watch that. All right, guys. Forgive me. I'm a little congested right now. So probably won't be speaking as well as I usually do. Okay. The next fight. Ricky Simone versus Ray Oh, wait. Oh, just kidding.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Ricky Simone versus Ray Borg is the second fight of the night. I also like this fight, but I don't like this fight because I feel like when is enough for Ray Borg? When is Ray Borg gonna call it a night, right? But I can't shit on the guy because, well, I'll tell you why.
During a pandemic.
Points JBH.
Let's go.
JBH, quickly throw a couple jabs at the camera.
Why?
Quickly.
Why are you gonna? Let's clip this. Ready? All right, go ahead and clip that. All right, guys. Ricky Simone versus Ray Borg. Now, the outcome of this fight, I believe, will likely depend on who can get the better of the grappling exchange. Simone, he's not necessarily as proven a grappler as Ray Borg is, but he's definitely a far bigger fighter, which is something that we have to keep in mind here. He's actually got about a 6-inch reach advantage. So I think that is definitely going to aid him in this fight. And to think that it wouldn't would just be ignorant, I think. I believe in order for Simone to take the win here, he's going to have to really put that range at work, and he's pretty good at doing that. We've seen him do that in the past. Perhaps if he can keep Borg at a distance and attempt to kind of strike him out without avoiding the takedowns from Borg, then he may have a standing chance here. But honestly, when it comes to Borg, I do feel whenever Borg has been able to out-wrestle an opponent, he always wins, and he knows that. And I believe he knows that he's going to have that advantage over someone like Ricky. So it would be no surprise at all for me to see Borg utilize that strength in this fight. Essentially, I think he's a fantastic grappler, especially from the top position, and he's adept to beating an opponent from the guard or taking the back and choking him out. So, and also his striking is not the worst we've seen. So bottom line for this fight, for me, I believe that if Simone can follow some sort of smart game plan at keeping the distance, keeping the range, and then piecing him up from there with strikes, I do believe he should be able to do enough to make a decision. But honestly, I don't see him doing that. In fact, I would actually not be surprised to see Ricky kind of bite off a little bit more than he can chew and maybe going a little too headstrong on this fight, in which case Borg is definitely going to ground him and definitely work him to that decision. Either way, I still went decision on this fight. I just don't see it, enough happening for some type of finish. So I went with Borg by decision in the third round. Let me know who you guys have in the chat. Fire Thing says, DS pissed I passed him. Man, I worked at Papa Murphy's when I was in high school. Okay, says Real Gamer. Fire says, passed. Sorry. DS passed. Pissed I passed him, I believe is what you're trying to say. Borg also says Drunk Savage. Real Gamer says Borg decision. Aiden Oliveres says Borg. Stephen Crumley, Borg by Blanky Hugs. Borg TKO. I got Borg as well. Borg probably. Borg by sub. What's up, Kevin Costa? My boys in the chat, guys. Rick AU? Whatever it is Steve Sparks is trying to say. LOL cheers. Justin Jr. says Simone Modelo here. Borg by Rona. All right, so it looks like a lot of people are on the same page. Took Borg. I took him by decision, but listen, I did see a couple people when I was doing some research were kind of leaning towards Ricky, and it's fair, I guess, but I just don't think he's gonna do enough, man. All right, let's move on to the third fight of the night. Alexander Hernandez versus Drew Dober. Oh shit, I just clicked the wrong thing. My bad. Look how tiny they went. Okay, there we go. Alexander Hernandez versus Drew Dober. Now, technically speaking for this fight, this is the type of fight that could go either way. You got a heavy striker in Alexander Hernandez and a heavy striker in a guy like Drew Dober, and an extremely well-rounded fighter in a guy like Drew Dober, and a guy who's coming in with that raw talent in Alexander Hernandez. So in fairness, this fight, I mean, I wouldn't blame you if you picked either one, to be quite honest. Technically speaking, Dober is the better striker than Hernandez, but we have seen in the past as well, Hernandez has that beast power behind his striking. He's certainly more explosive. There's no question about it. You throw in a pretty strong wrestling game, and it definitely feels like Hernandez has that potential to win this fight. But Dober's boxing game, in my opinion, has steadily improved across his UFC career since the time that he came into the UFC to where he's at right now. And honestly, I would argue he's on the verge of the top 15. He's definitely good on the ground, and he can 100% defend himself with his wrestling background. Overall, Dober, I mean, the guy he's got skills in all areas. There's just no question in my mind. The only hole that I can actually see with this fight with Dober is the fact that Hernandez does have that fresh, strong, bullheaded, raw talent as a prospect in the UFC, and that's something that maybe we should keep in mind here. But with that in mind, I do understand that Hernandez has some time to improve his skills since he's been sitting out for a little while. However, I just don't see him kind of dodging some of that incredible striking from Dober, even if Hernandez takes Dober down, right, and tries to work Dober on the ground. Dober's wrestling skills, his background is more than capable of defeating him. And I'm going to say Hernandez is not going to really buy into that too much and maybe underestimate him and walk into one of those nasty shots, giving Dober that TKO finish. So I, of course, went with Drew Dober by TKO in the second round. Let me know who you guys have in the chat. All right. Gary Banjo sandwiches Dober by Fatchin. Where's Moss? Says Flat Earth Deacon. He lurking. Duster says Amy Winehouse. Glide says I picked Drew first round. There you go, my man. That's how you do it. Hernandez is so overrated, and I thought he lost his last fight. Dober TKO round 2. A kid got hype after his win over Dariush. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Dober round 2 sounds pretty convincing to me. What's good all? Marlon, Ricky, Dober, boxing, wrestling, Dober all day, Dober TKO round 2, same pick. Doberman Pincher. Wow, is this the first fight briefing where I might actually have the majority picks? This is
Wonderful.
This is very wonderful. I'm actually shocked. I'm all my picks, I feel like I'm in some way connecting with you guys, you know? There's always one that's off, but I feel like I've been connecting with you guys so far. I'm not going to jinx it. Knock on wood here. All right, guys, the next fight, Ben Rothwell versus Ovince St. Preux, or OSP as we like to call him. He is the co-main event for the night. I will point out, how many of you guys have noticed that fight nights have gone from 6 fights to 5 fights? I love that. I love that so much. They should have done this a long time ago. Not that I don't like the extra fights, but for a fight night, it should always be 5 fights on the main card. I love that they did that, and it makes me so happy. I don't know why. It just like fills me with joy here. All right, guys. Ben Rothwell versus OSP. Now, it's easy to say that Rothwell isn't the most dynamic or energetic fighter in the division. I mean, a lot of people have said that in the past. I've even said it in the past. But don't count this guy out. I would argue that at the peak point of his career, it was probably pretty difficult to see him extremely agile in comparison to most other fighters in the division that he fights in. But he's got some heavy hands, this guy. That being said, he did have a USADA suspension last year. Ever since he came back, he's looked even more worrying on the feet than we've ever seen him before. So it's difficult to want to pick Rothwell in this fight. OSP, on the other hand, is a relatively decent striker. We've seen this. Not the most natural, but no, pretty good for, I guess, what he's bringing to the table. I'm confident that OSP can find a way to simply just dodge around Rothwell's attacks and kind of pick him apart. We've seen him do it before. He's the more agile in this fight in comparison to Rothwell. If I had to be perfectly honest, I really don't see why OSP shouldn't win this fight. Bottom line for this fight, guys, overall, I do see this fight leaning one way or the other simply because Rothwell does have that power behind his strikes, although OSP may be able to put some of his striking to work. I worry because he's not as nuanced on the feet to dance around, you know? So hopefully he can pick Rothwell apart, hunt for that decision victory. Rothwell's also less likely to land one of those clubbing blows because OSP has that agility to kind of move around. So Rothwell, the chances of him getting the TKO these days is probably slim to none in this fight. I do think that he does have enough to avoid OSP's takedowns, so this one's going to be a pretty close one to call, but I do suspect OSP may be picking him apart here, even without those takedowns. So I'm going to say OSP by decision in the third. Let me know who you guys have in the chat. Oh, that's Chris Cam. Okay. Everyone betting against Rothwell because of recency bias. Gonna be sad. Bias. Do you know what bias is, Johnny Mac? Bias is like if you like the fighter, if like say I'm a big Ben Rothwell fan, right? And I say Rothwell is gonna win because of this and this and this. And then someone says, "Oh, you're biased because you like him." That's bias. So I think you would be biased. Not everybody else. Everybody else believes based off skill that OSP is going to win. You're biased. Anyways, we're going to move on to the main event of the evening. Okay. Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira is the main event, guys. I don't know how many people saw Moss using his new little headband. Alright, let me just refocus. I hate when he does this because he knows I have like this weird like attention problem. Okay. I'm just gonna go to the chat for a minute. Smith KO round 2. What was the over? I got Smith. The moss emojis are dropping in the chat right now. So here's the thing. I'm just gonna take off from the main event real quick to tell you this. Moss got me these for my birthday coming up. He got me this headband that fighters use, and it's got like an elastic string to it with a ball, and it helps your hand-eye coordination. You're supposed to hit the ball, and a ball bounces back, and you gotta hit. It's actually really hard. It's not easy at all. I thought it was easy looking at the fighters do it, but it's not easy. But I used it a couple times, and I think Moss has taken more to it than I have. So now, every time I walk around, he's got this headband on with this ball hanging from his face, trying to... All right. All right, let's just move on. Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira is the main event of the evening, guys. I love this fight. I love this. Now, this is biased, Shawnee Mac, because I like Anthony Smith. I'm a huge Anthony Smith fan. So if I were to say Anthony Smith's going to win this fight, you could reasonably argue, oh, well, you're just biased because you like Anthony Smith. This is bias. All right, so let me give you an example. I would argue that Anthony Smith is currently fighting in his prime. Some other people would probably argue that, but they're probably not biased. He's also quite a bit bigger than some other 205-pounders, which I believe gives him the advantage. His range is exceptionally well. There is no argument that his range has been put to the test multiple times, and he's always succeeded. Smith is overall pretty fun to watch. #bias. Especially offensively. We have seen that his ability to catch opponents off guard with some pretty telling strikes is exceptionally fun to watch. Bias. I think that's what makes him a little more unique and fun to watch, is that there's no specific distance with him. He can strike well from range and from inside the clinch. Bias. Another thing I want to point out is Smith's grappling. We got to see him put to good use. Both when he fought Ozdemir and Gustafsson. Fact. See the difference? All right, guys, let's move on to Teixeira. All right, guys, the truth is that Teixeira probably peaked about 5 or 6 years ago. The skills that kind of got him to the top are still intact, you could argue, in that he's a tremendous grappler and submission threat from the top position, and he throws especially powerful strikes. But at 40 years old, this is one of those cases where it's like, okay, he's still got the skill, he's still there, but when do the gloves go in, right? He's notably slower than he once was, and he's way less durable too at 40. Essentially, Teixeira is a very dangerous opponent for anyone, but his advanced age, I believe, in the wear and tear he's endured, kind of make him a more beatable opponent in this fight. So I would venture to say Smith is going to be a bit more calculated here. Not that Teixeira won't be calculated, I just believe Smith is going to have a little bit more of that upper hand. We were able to witness how he's able to keep his composure, Smith. If you look at his fight with Cutelaba, I believe that Smith has the ability to hurt Teixeira in this fight, wobble him on the feet, which would inevitably kind of lead him to that victory, KO, TKO. So I'm going to go with Anthony Smith, KO, TKO in the third round. Let me know who you guys have in the chat. Glover by Murder says Shawnee Mac. Pulse Reloaded says he looks like he could be JDS's uncle. You corrected my on Smith beating the home invasion. Maybe that wasn't you. I corrected you on Smith beating the home invasion? I never said anything about the home invasion. Carmelo says Lionheart decision. Smith TKO round 2. AS Smith via submission. Smith second round KO. Sup Roots. Smith. Mystic Roots in the chat. Shout out to Mystic Roots, guys. 15% off. Promo code MMA-Hole. If you head over to Mystic Roots, link in the description. Also, guys, UFC on ESPN Plus. If you want to get your fights this weekend, then ESPN Plus, link in the description. Head over there. All right. I'm wondering about his hands. Says Henry Solstice. Flatter Things says open the lines. Brooks MB says Smith. Smith by coronavirus. Who's picking Glover? Smith. Fire says Mystic Roots missed KO by third round. Not me pulls. Lionheart via split. That's right, Brendan. Justin Jr. dropping the phones. So I know Moss likes to open up the phones, but I have to be perfectly honest with you guys because this is my show and I can finally say it. Sometimes you guys spend a little too much time on the phone lines and I can't handle it. I don't have the patience. If you call in for 2 seconds and say, I got this guy, and this guy, and just hang up, I'd be more than happy to open up the phone lines. But, I can't sit here listening to I don't have the attention span. I really don't. And I'm sorry. And I love you guys. And listen, if you could tell me that you could call in and tell me who your picks are for 2 seconds and hang up the phone, I'd be more than happy to open up the phone lines. But, it's too much sometimes. And I just want to kill myself. I can't do it. All right. Phone calls, please. Plat loves you. Yeah. All right. Here's what I'll do. All right. I'm going to make a deal with you guys. And I'm going to say it beforehand so that I don't get shit on later on. If your call is longer than it should be, and you have to call in and take long pauses before you can finally make your point, I am hanging up on you. I will hang up on you. Not that I don't love you, but I will hang up on you because I don't want to hear it. Call in, tell me your picks, hang up. That's all I want. That's all anybody wants. But okay, I'll do it right now. Hold on. Here, I'll play some music for you. And I'm only doing like 5 minutes of phone calls and then I'm ending the show. All right? Hold on. All right, 1 second.
Wonderful.
All right, guys. Phone lines are open. 516-522-0267. Here we go. Unknown caller, you're live with the MMA-Holes. What's your name? What's on your mind?
Justin Jr.
What's up, Justin?
I got Smith.
Okay.
I got Smith. I think he gets the decision. Obviously, like you said, Glover peaked about 4 or 5 years ago. And most of Glover's wins that he's been losing the fight, and then the fight gets taken down to the ground, and then he gets a finish there. And I think obviously in Smith's last fight, he showed he has a grappling ability, and I just think Smith's ground game is too good for Glover to do anything significant to win the round or even win the fight. And I just think Smith gets it.
Hold on, I got a donation. Hold on.
Fook the phones, hang up now.
T-Rez is Fook the phones, hang up now. All right, so you got Smith by TKO. Who do you got in the co-main?
I got Simone. I was surprised to see all the what's the guy's name? He lost.
All right, 516-522-0267. You heard me. I'm not being a bitch. I fucking told you guys. Let me know your picks. Hang up. I'm sorry, Justin. I feel like an asshole, but I can't. I can't. I'm sorry. I love you. All right. 516-522-0267. Let me know who you guys have for the. This is going on for 5 minutes. I'm hanging up. I can't do this. Jesse, now do it. Hang out drunk. Nah, he's got good points. I appreciate his points, but just tell me who you have. I don't want to hear it all. Just say, I got this guy, and this guy, and hang up. That's it. That's all you have to do. It's not hard. I just want to know who you have for the fight. Boom, kid, roasted. Here we go. 201, you're live with the MMA-Holes. What's your name? What's on your mind?
Yo, it's Aiden.
What's up, Aiden?
So I got Smith by TKO round 2 and OSP by decision. That's it.
All right. Thanks, Aiden. Man, that's how you do a call. Yeah! Let's go, Aiden! That's how you do a call. Thank you. All right. They're back open. 516-522-0267. All right.
Wonderful.
Okay. Is this kid in the hood hang up quicker after they make their point? No, he did good. He called in. He made his point. Let me know. Justin, you can call back in. Just tell me who you have. That's all. Hang up quicker. I saw Ozzy Cat Moss in the chat, by the way. Everyone give a happy birthday to Mama Moss today. It's her birthday. Everyone give all the birthday cakes in the chat. Here, I'll drop a birthday cake for Mama Moss. Hold on. Birthday. Hold on. Birthday cake. Here we go. All right. 502, you're live with the MMA-Holes. What's the name? What's on your mind?
Yo, JBH, it's Gnomes Amok.
Okay, what's up?
Okay, I got Rothwell. I just want to talk about one pick, and that's Rothwell.
You better make it fast.
Rothwell, he's gonna win. He's got power. That thing that I forget who made the point, but that guy that was talking about recency bias, that's a real thing. People forget about Ben Rothwell's power because he hasn't been in the spotlight because he's a little bit washed up. But I don't think St. Preux's got what it takes to. He's awkward, you know. He's gonna catch him with one of those power shots. It's gonna put him out.
Okay, fair enough. All right, good call, man. Thank you for calling.
Peace out.
Good call. I like that. See, if you're going to make a point, it's on one fight. Hang up. Yeah, Shawnee Mac was the one making the points on the recency bias. He said, I can't remember what he said. I skipped some of his comments because he was screaming at me in the chat, so I just ignored him. Hold on, let me go back and see if I can find some of the stuff he said. I don't like caps lock. If you caps lock me, I'm gonna ignore you. Hold on. Let me see if I can go back and find it now. JBH, I said recency bias. Do you not know what that means? It's not liking a fighter. Okay, explain. Not in caps, though. 716, you're live with the MMA-Holes. What's the name? What's on your mind?
Hi, it's Carmelo.
What's up, Carmelo?
I have Smith by unanimous decision. I think that Glover will get tired by like the second or third round, and he'll just beat Smith, and that's really it. So, thank you.
All right, thanks, Carmelo. See, I love this. I love when I have control over the calls. It's like a snappy thing. 516-522-0267, guys, call in. I'm gonna do like maybe 2 more calls and then I'll bounce from here. Thanks for letting me know who you guys have in the chat. Thanks for telling Mama Moss happy birthday. All right, hold on. Oh, I got 2 coming in. Hold on. Who do I take? 832, you're live with the MMA-Holes. What's the name? What's on your mind?
Hi, it's Carmelo once again. I just wanted to say happy early 24th and happy birthday to Mama Moss. Okay. Later.
That was Walmart Carmelo in the calls. 516-522-0267. Happy birthday, Mama Moss. Hi, Jesse. How's it going? What's up, Richie? Richie Wright in the chat, guys. Go subscribe to Richie Wright. This guy's awesome. I tuned into some of his challenges sometime. There was one time when he drank a whole bottle of ranch in a bathtub. It's pretty interesting to watch. Go subscribe to Richie Wright. Damn, okay. Happy birthday, Mama Moss. Later, Tater. How do you do it? Hang up now. Generic brand Carmelo. I have the calls open. I'll do one more and then we'll bounce. 516-522-0267. Here we go. Unknown caller, you're live with the MMA-Holes. What's the name? What's on your mind?
Justin Jr.
What's up, Justin?
Smith versus Teixeira, or what's the co-main event?
Ben Rothwell versus OSP.
Yes, obviously, Rothwell, you know, like a lot of fighters, he failed a USADA test, and he hasn't been looking good as of great, but Ovince St. Preux, man, throughout this guy's long career, you know, I can't remember if he's failed a drug test, probably has. Most fighters are on them roids, but I just think OSP, you know, I think that Rothwell hasn't been looking good as of late, and I think OSP can I think OSP gets the decision.
Okay.
Rothwell is pretty durable. His couple last losses have been to decision. Just for fun purposes, I like saying OSP by Von Flue choke, but I think OSP by decision.
By Von Flue choke?
Shout out to Alexei Oleinik.
Okay. All right, wait, but can you just go back to the Von Flue choke thing real quick? Can you explain this to me?
Yes.
Why do you think...
I was watching top 5 finishes of OSP earlier today on YouTube, and this is actually the first time I've heard of a Von Flue choke or something, but he's had a couple of them.
Mm-hmm. So you think that's how he's gonna win this fight?
No, I think he wins by decision, but it'd be pretty interesting if he got a Von Flue choke. Look, Rothwell's most of his losses, he loses by decision, so I don't think he's gonna get KO'd or submitted, but I think OSP by decision, but I say Von Flue choke.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Thank you, Justin, for calling.
Yep.
All right, guys. That's enough. No more. All right, I'm done. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night for the actually, no, not the Wednesday show. Tomorrow night is the fight. So let me check what time the prelims start over here. Prelims start at 6 p.m. Eastern time. All right. So make sure you guys tune in for that. We will be live, like I said, 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be doing a live fight reaction. We'll have the ESPN link and everything else. Other than that, guys, it's going to be so weird. Tomorrow's the Wednesday show. We're going to be live at 6. It's going to be fucking weird. But I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm so glad that we're getting fights literally all week. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you for telling me who your picks are in the chat and in the phone calls. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Moss will see you tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed Moss's little show back there. And as always, you guys know the drill. Don't be an a-hole. Be an MMA-hole.